Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. I have a demon for a toddler tonight. It's been crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know that you guys have either heard or maybe watched the debrief with Chris Madano on the interview room. And it's pretty good. It made me think of some things that I did not think of, or I haven't thought of in a while. So definitely helps. So I wanted to play, just like I do with any other live, just play a few clips and like talk about it. This one specifically is about the Don and Candus interview with Channel 11 News, I believe. And that was one of my most eye-opening ones before they got onto YouTube. So, hey, let me know if you can hear me, by the way. Sounds like there's a reverb. Awesome. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So, let's get started on watching this really quickly. Hope everyone's doing okay. Um, Holiday season kind of makes everyone crazy, especially on my side of the family. I'm ready to. I'm ready for it to go away. Yes, please. Is it a little low? Okay, I figured it was. Let's see if that's better. Let me know if that's probably not. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Audio issues. We're going to get there one day. I'm going to be a pro at this. Okay, that's fine. Let me know if you can hear me now. Woohoo! Yay, good. Okay. This is what happens with a gaming headset and you no longer game. You know what I mean? I don't know why I do that. Okay. So, again, I want to go over some of the things that Chris Madano said during the interview room debrief that he had. Um, there were some things that he said that kind of refreshed my memory on, how Candace and Don were acting. I didn't see like the elbow nudge. Did y'all see that? Or did y'all notice that? I didn't.
It's basically a
Let me know if you can't
class
hear
that
that,
I
okay?
used to give to law enforcement. I still do, but not as much on this side. The other situations are more about cold case homicides and that type of thing. I'm working with some departments on that, and this is a PowerPoint that I put together. And the reason I did this is tonight I want to go into the mindset. And by the way, I will take as much time as you can stick with me here. And I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable, i.e., that you got to get if you got to go do what you got to do. That's awesome. Okay. So this is a PowerPoint presentation that I've had for quite some time. I just added the interview room today down on the bottom there. But what I want to go through tonight is the first 3 hours. And then as we go along, I'm going to break down where we are, where I think we've been. And I want to hear from you uh, in relationship to some of the questions that we have here, right? So in the first 3 hours, those are, it's kind of like in the medical, terminology, right? The golden hours, right? The golden hour. Well, in child cases, the first 3 hours are the most critical. In these 3 hours, you know, agencies have to identify really quickly what they're dealing with. The second part of that is they have to measure off within that decision process, within that 3 hours, if it's a stranger abduction.
I think it's very interesting that he says that the first 3 hours, a stranger abduction is a rare event. So that tells me that stranger abductions within the first 3 hours is so random. Like it really just has to be an opportunity or someone was really staking it out, that child or that person, right? That just, and for this case with Summer Wells, it's like where they're located on Ben Hill Road. the abductions theory, which I've never believed anyway, is even that more far fetched to me. You know what I mean? I don't understand why they thought why they think that it's an abduction. I I will never understand.
Making sure that they also recognize that those types of cases are rare events. Okay? So, and the numbers will speak to that. And I'm not necessarily going to go over the numbers, okay? But if you if if you are a first officer on the scene, like the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, these are the kind of questions or the kind of things that they're going to be thinking about. For in the third bullet point here is a missing child is a very high profile event. I think we can all agree on that, right? And behind the scenes, though, and what we're starting to see is the community will want immediate action. Okay? Now, that's an interesting comment because we're starting to see where some of this is starting to show itself. Okay? So, if this was 6 months previous and you saw this slide as an investigator, you wouldn't be thinking 6 months down the line that the community, would be responding the way that they are. Okay. The other consideration is the media will demand perfection.
I am more than positive that Candace and Don did not expect the YouTube community to come at to come at them like this. And now that I have a toddler, if God forbid anything happened, I would definitely make sure I had an extra pair of drawers on me because I would be scared shitless because you're being scrutinized. So I am learning what not to do from the Wells, but also what the media does, which is tear you to shreds to make sure that you're credible as a parent and as a human being. So, ugh,
Out of the investigation. Okay? And what that means, quite simply, it's the media's job to hold the law enforcement agency accountable for a fluid investigation. Okay, and thank you, by the way, for all of you joining, and we're grateful for that. Um, if I don't call you out, please don't take that personal. Forgive me. I just, I get into a flow, and sometimes I'll get a text message from my sweetheart saying, "Hey, you better acknowledge people." So I acknowledge you all up front. Okay, we love you all. Okay? Uh, the next bullet point there is if it's a stranger abduction, hypothetically, the family is also going to want immediate results. Where are we seeing that now? We're seeing that in that little boy in Idaho, Michael Vaughn. Mom is on a new crusade, rightfully so, on all of the news channels in all of the world, calling out, for results and finding her little sons. Can you imagine, what that poor woman is going through? It's just absolutely horrible.
yeah. No, I cannot imagine. And honestly, she is what you would call the ideal reactor of an abduction. Like she has it down. And not that she's playing a game or anything, but or playing a script, but that is what a true parent who is mourning their son, missing their son, that's what it looks like. That's what it should normally be. And I know everyone has their own way of reacting to trauma, but that's the more general term of someone who is legitimately missing their child who is not involved, you know? Not Candace and Don at all.
Horrible. And father. And father. Here's the one that I love. Emotions will run at peak levels. Wow. You can't get um, any louder than that in relationship to what's going on in Summer's case, right? It's a very emotional case. I feel connected to it. I know my wife does. I know Dylan does, and we certainly know each of you do, not only in the community but around the world. Uh, each of each of us has felt in our own independent way the power of this innocence lost and the power of the innocence of youth. And so I think as we go to along here and we start remembering, what were the things that were said 6 months ago? What are the things
Sorry, I'm going to refresh this. The camera and voice is so off.
this down into a couple of
It's bothering
buckets?
me.
And Dylan, if I drop off, I obviously then have first, and then so in relation there, region and the area where this
Okay,
child
I skipped through
was.
a bunch of stuff because we need to get
The
to the
question
interview.
comes, did what access points did that child have access to? What access point did Summer have?
58% often initial report is suspicious and or routine. Almost, or excuse me, more than half are suspicious. Wow, that's a that's a big number. I didn't realize that. I guess that what they mean by suspicious would that be false, be lying, like lying about somebody being missing, and it's more deviant. Wow. The questions arise as the initial contact with the parents and or friends, and the question arises, is this foul play? And that's more than half. That is bananas, guys. So this is why I think web sleuths are so on to missing children, because we've seen it time and time again, especially with the Kaylee Anthony case, which is what started it for me, which is why I'm here today. Um, that it's pretty obvious that a lot of people are involved in foul play with their missing children. Almost more than half, like more than half. That's beyond me. Like it's really hard to understand that.
Access to? The first one is if she was in the house, then she has the door through the kitchen, in or out. If she's in the basement, then she has that basement door. So the question has always been, can you see in? Well, we now know 6 months later, you cannot see through that door. Okay? You cannot see through that door. Bambi, to answer your question, I'm hoping that she's still with us. Statistically, it's going to be a Christmas miracle. Let's pray, right? Let's continue to pray. I'm an optimist. I try to keep a positive mental attitude as often as I can, but I've learned enough and worked enough of these situations that, it's going to be a miracle. It's not impossible, though. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay. So the question arises, what's the initial contact with parents and or friends? And it's interesting that we heard a new word injected into this conversation by the sheriff recently, and that word is foul play. Look at the last two words on this slide. Okay. The questions arise as the initial contact with parents and or friends, and the question arises, is this foul play?
Hey, Austin. I have not. So, if anybody saw my short, there is a missing 14-year-old who was abducted, last seen in Fairview, Texas. Um, Here, just so everybody
So,
can
what the
see.
sheriff was saying,
What's her last name? Giandani. So I'm not very far from Fairview. Um, this is not to
Repair
interrupt, but
bills happen at the worst times. Thankfully, that's when
An Amber Alert has been issued for a missing
just a
14-year-old girl
FYI.
who police say is in danger. Police say Haley Giandoni was last seen at 6 p.m. Saturday in the 100 block of Stonehenge Drive in Fairview. That's just a few miles south of McKinney in Collin County. Haley
That's like
is
30 minutes from me.
5'4" and weighs 170 pounds. She has brown hair, brown eyes, and was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt and camouflage leggings. Police say no suspect has been identified at this time. If you have any information, call Fairview Police.
Now, I did see a few comments on my short that I did. I uploaded, to my Texas friends to look out for this girl. And the cousin said that she went off with, or she was friends with someone who was friends with um, people who were known for sex trafficking. So that's kind of scary. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can find the comment. Crime Stories, you're so sweet. You are wonderful for showing up to my live. I am so honored. That's a big deal for me. So let me see if I can find it. Then we'll get back to the video. I just wanted to make sure that I got the facts right. I think it's that one. Yeah.
For all my Texas people, Fairview, Texas, Amber Alert, 14-year-old white female Haley Giandani.
I butchered her last name, bless her. So Emma Brothers says she's my cousin. She ran away with people she met in a mental hospital. So that should be a silver alert. If she has any mental illness, it should be a silver alert. I don't know if that was the case. So this should be more than just an amber. This should be a silver alert. And I think that you have to go and tell law enforcement or something. You have to do something to make sure that it turns into a silver alert if they're not aware. But yeah, she ran away with people she met in a mental hospital and they are part of a sex trafficking ring. I don't know if this person is legit or not, but I really hope that they find her. That's awful. I would not I would not want that to happen to any of my nieces who are around that age. Ugh. Yep. Anyway, okay, I'll go back to that video. But no, I have heard nothing. Nothing else.
this down into a couple of buckets, understand, region. And so those first 3 hours is a critical time for investigators, and as a course of action must be
Austin, I don't know where I think she is, honestly. It's really scary the first 2 days. But teenagers, they unfortunately do run off and go party for a few days. Or, especially at 14, you don't know what you're getting into. You're just living in the moment. So, I don't know. But The first 2 days are important, and I hope that they can track her social media. I'm glad that they alerted the Amber Alert. What is today? Sunday? So that's one day. They did not do that with Haley Nicole Shell. The law enforcement in Arkansas just completely bombed that, which they found her, thank goodness. But she was all the way in Illinois, and they're from Arkansas. And it took them, what, 20 days? No, excuse me, 14 days for anyone to say that she was missing instead of just a runaway. It's a hot mess. But I really hope that they work diligently because everyone's under the gun these days. Everybody and their mama who is related to law enforcement. Y'all have to be on point because you're going to be under fire soon if you don't.
Decided immediately by her swing to the very first
Okay, we're about to get into Candace and
with
Don's
parents the walk away. This is
interview.
going to be the interview that mom and dad did with the news
Hi,
in the very
Julia.
beginning. But listen for the very first sentence from mom. Very first sentence. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to go back and play it back if I have to, but we're going to break down this interview here.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off.
Okay, what did we just hear? We just heard mom say, I know she did not walk away from this property by herself. Okay? That's what I just heard. So I'm going to play it again.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this
Yo,
yard
Killer Looks.
by her swing.
All right. Piece number 2, from my opinion. Where
Okay, why don't we back up a bit and see how, excuse my language, fucked up this woman is. And I don't mean just in general, I mean high as a kite. I can say that because I've had fun. I've had fun in my day. Not like this, but I know what I know. And also being from the South and being in a poor, country East Texas area, I know what that looks like. And ma'am, that's all I'm going to say.
was mom focused on her baby being? She's talking about by her swing. Okay. So that is a what we would call an emotional touch point for mom, because that is the area she would have expected to see her. Okay? But the narrative puts her in the basement. Okay? Puts her in the basement. Okay? So these are comfort points for the parents to talk about where they would have expected her to be, okay, by the swing.
I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Me?
All right, what do you guys think
They
on
lured
that?
her.
Tell me what you guys think.
Lured her.
I'm hearing Vicky says she knows by her swing.
Lured.
Okay, what's your cornbread, General Jones? Yeah, interesting. The cornbread mafia, right? I'm not going to go down that road tonight. Um,
What do y'all
Here
feel
we
Me
about
go.
the
and my
cornbread mafia,
mother
by the
and
way? Put
her
it in
were
the chat.
planting flowers.
Now, I'll give you a hint. That story has what we'll say evolved. Okay? It's evolved. Mother was planting flowers. At some times, she says on the side of the house. Another time she says that it was over by the trailer. Okay? She uses the word lured away, dream catcher, yes. She says she feels that she was lured away. Okay. Uh, let me put that up. That's a good point. This one here by Nancy. If she was lured,
But the boys said that they said, yes, she went downstairs to the basement. How do you become lured from inside a room where you can't see in and then goes outside? Unless, of course, she just went outside. But I think that you would know. I mean, you can't see around the house from Grandma Candace where she was, but you would know. She was a rambunctious little girl. She would have said something. I think she would have fought if it was something like an abduction. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This does not make any sense to commit to an idea that she was abducted. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
why would someone know? Why would she know? Yeah, that's a great question or a great point. Okay. So let's keep moving. This is remember. Let's and then we'll go to other things if we have to. We can go to the water hole. We can go to H. We can go to Alley. And by the way, they gave me 100% permission to film, as well as they knew, what was going on. There's no question about it. I have it on tape. Okay. Uh, and it maybe some point one day I'll show it to if it gets too crazy. Okay, but I have it guaranteed. It's not my first rodeo. Okay?
And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV.
Okay, so the boys were watching TV. That's okay. That kind of statement like that is not a big deal. Okay, because they could have been playing video games. Sometimes in the moment, I do not um, have a problem with that personally. Okay, but I do have major problems, and I have from day one in a couple of things. My opinion, her her pupils are pinned. Usually something on board. I said this a long time ago. I'll say it again. Okay. Maybe it's a medication because she's so far up there, but maybe it's also personal medication. Okay, we now know 6 months later that seems to be a very big personal medication problem over there. Opioids, yeah, exactly. Okay, pinpoint. Okay, here we go.
And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
Okay, so she goes downstairs, and we can go look at that dungeon again. Okay? And she's just gone. She's gone. Well, did she go out the door?
No, no, she did not. I mean, my brain cannot wrap around the fact that she just got abducted or walked out the door. It doesn't make any sense. Please, someone, please, someone tell me how this is even a thought. I think we all know that we can put that away. Like the 7% that in Doug's life, no thanks. I think there was 7% that thought that she was innocent or that the parents were innocent. Those 7% need to get off that pony. Mm-mm.
And look to see that she was gone, or was she just gone from the basement? Because where I'm hearing, what I'm thinking here is she has specifically said now that basement is where this occurred. Is where this occurred. What's your opinion? What's your opinion? Let me see what you have. Let's see here. She automatically thinks she's gone. Yep. Let's see what else. Let me pull up some of these others coming in here. Her eyes are reliving, and behind her, she can't see the direction behind her. Okay. I feel that the brothers are involved. All right. Gone from the basement. 10 toes. Love that name. Absolutely love that name. Right. I don't think she ever went to the basement. Interesting, Allison. Okay. Uh, right on point. She's not being honest. Yeah, yeah. We have a lot of stuff happening here, and a lot of information from different folks in terms of how we read into this. But we're actually going to see the answers start to come right in front of us. Bam says accident cover up, and it just went by me too fast. Bam, I couldn't get it up fast enough, but there you go.
I don't go on walks around here.
Okay, I don't go on walks around here. And so if I was an investigator, I would say, well, why?
Or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes.
So you don't walk around your property and or the up and around Ben Hill at all because of bears and snakes. Okay.
Um, I mean, that one is kind of far fetched to me because, I mean, I've lived in my area for a while and we have trails. I live in a very populated city and I don't even walk around that much because I watch too much true crime and I could die. Somebody could jump out and murder me on the trail, and no. But because she's in the country, that would make more sense that she would at least walk down the road or let her kids play outside so she doesn't go around the property. She doesn't go walking. She doesn't go fishing. Like, I think she did say that she loves to go fishing and loves to do all these things with her kids around the property, but she doesn't ever go anywhere. Hmm. Okay. There's a confliction there.
Okay, so what do you do?
And even the coyotes that are around here.
So bear, snakes, and coyotes in the area, and that's the reason why basically you stay inside of your house. Is that correct?
Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they.
Okay, so we now know the media cut that because they asked a question and it didn't make any sense on how that just flowed into it, right? Okay. So she thinks automatically somebody has her daughter,
Bring her back to us safe and sound.
and they want her to bring them. They want that person to bring her back.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves.
Now, this is the elusive red truck that 6 months ago started to suck up a lot of resources in the investigation. And
Okay. I call bullshit on the red truck. I think it's a red herring. Um, Even though I know that there are a few people that could possibly be involved that have a red truck. We have Jackie Dobbs. who was on Jody Sue's property that has a red truck. We have um, Jody Sue's mom. Apparently, I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently she has a red truck. Now the Toyota Tacoma, what's her name? Robin has one now. I mean, the list goes on and on. And when I listen to the police scanners for Hawkins County Public Safety, they are looking for a Toyota Tacoma just like the TBI states on their website. So they do. Um, and I do believe that that was a red herring. And I do believe that was just to throw people off even more. I think that they are at least good at manipulating things to get what they need. And that includes eluding people on this case. I really do. But that's just me.
They've pretty much flushed every red truck out, and the investigation has now said how the um, red truck is really just we're checking the boxes, basically. Okay, and everybody who has a red truck probably within 50 miles has probably been flushed out in the investigation. So this is the elusive red truck and the elusive kidnapper.
And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
Okay, they've done that, all of them.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her head
back and make
herself.
it.
I don't believe
I think
that.
you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was
I
getting out
don't
of
believe that.
control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head to
That's so scripted, isn't it? That's
so she
scripted.
wouldn't feel bad, and but
So I would
No,
call Don, out of the two, the helicopter dad. But actually, that's not fair. Let's call him the helicopter husband. Okay? Because every interview he's ever done, he looks over and interjects when the conversation starts to go into a different direction. And by the way, remember, this is pre all the other stuff that we know. And thank you, Sugar. Keep up the great work. Thank you from the UK. We love our friends over in Europe and the UK, in Britain. We're grateful for you. And thank you for being here tonight. But you'll notice Don starts creating additional narratives.
it didn't bother her at this point. Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. I knew that.
Now, he said we knew, and then he corrects that with I knew.
definitely had lice. Yeah.
Now, this is 6 months ago.
Right away, and that's what I told him from the beginning. But
I told them from the beginning she was abducted.
Yeah, that is telling.
What do you say, right? I mean, what do you say to that? Because that's a narrative, right? That's the narrative. Yet the authorities have now 6 months later say there is no evidence of an abduction. However, there could be foul play. They could be foul play.
they have to go through their, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything.
Him looking around
Always
is.
has sat wrong with me
Mm-hmm.
how they both, since day one, seem like, well, she's gone. Oh, well, we'll see her in heaven. I have hope for years,
Exactly.
no matter
I'll
what.
see her in
Good
the
for you. Yes.
resurrection.
What a great comment. Thank you so much, Jack and Angie. What a wonderful comment.
Seen them limping and everything else, and I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way that.
So this is Don's religious phase, okay, where he feels, empathy for everybody out looking for his daughter. Okay. Now, initially, if they were cleared, according to what they've introduced into the environment, okay, and all that I've seen now in 6 months is a series of fundraisers and a PR campaign. Okay. That's interesting.
Neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that.
Now, another interesting thought through this was they said they didn't know their neighbors, right? He's going to get into it, I think, here in a minute. They really didn't know their neighbors.
Yeah, they
He
did.
didn't hang out with those type, okay? But he hangs out with them now, and it's also pretty interesting. I think, in just my opinion, allegedly, you know, there were neighbors that had information and had presented it not only to them that day, but to the authorities.
I
Okay?
think we all
And I
know
believe
about
a
this.
lot of those neighbors have been interviewed.
I'm going to jump to a specific part that I want everyone to see. See if this is it.
Statement. What do you think?
I was around. The most important thing is to bring Summer home safe. I'm sorry
She's looking
that
to
you
the
feel
left.
this way about us, but
Now that's interesting. The news asked them a question that they cut, and they put her response into the question. It was probably something to the effect of, "Are you involved?" Okay.
we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without. Thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as
Treat her
I
like
was
what?
around, ever.
She loves to.
Treat her like what?
She loves to dance.
That's an interesting statement. Let me. I had a note on that. Hang on.
Good. And
Who
can
treated her
and
like that?
still is.
That's interesting. I didn't really think about it. Like, who would never treat her like that? Like, who was it that did? Is she trying to say in context that what they're saying that she did, she would never do? But it sounds like she's replaying something that happened. What do y'all think? I'm not sure. I'm gonna replay that.
And they put her response into the question. It was probably something to the effect of, "Are you involved?" Okay.
We love our children with everything we have. We've never went without. Thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around, ever.
She loves to. She loves to dance.
That's an interesting statement. Let me. I had a note on that. Hang on.
Good and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody.
Uh, so this inquisitive Jade said, "Can
That's
anyone tell me
weird.
if the police have confirmed that they both passed the lie detector test?" Okay. Well, I talked to Candace personally, and she told me she could not do the first one, quote unquote. I didn't do the first. I couldn't get through the first one. Go. Okay, so my wife just said Don's been calling her young lady. I'm so sorry. Okay, that makes sense now. I appreciate that. I correct myself and forgive me. I thought you were making. I was like, where'd that come from? But okay, I get it now, and I'm sorry. 423. Appreciate you very much. Forgive me. But where I was going with this is,
Would ever treat her like that as long as
pause. As long as I
I was around.
was around. That is a very interesting statement. What do you think?
That is very
This is
telling.
interesting. As long as
Very
I was
telling.
around. Wasn't she around?
Was
Wasn't she
she
around?
around?
Ever.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, "Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl," and she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired, you know. But and you know, I put out there that one of Summer's favorite songs was Godzilla, and they say, you know, and they're jumping all over me about past tense was, you know. Well, I'm sorry about that. It's just,
She also liked the song by New Breed. It was called House, My House. She sung that a lot of times when I play it on the TV. She loved to dance.
she liked to think of herself as a princess, and you know, and all that, like all young girls do. And
She loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa.
Past
And
tense. Here's where the past tense happens. This is where they know. They're
I
so
think she really
uncomfortable
loved to
right
be in
now with what
church
they
because
know.
she felt a lot of love there, and I think you can't explain what that love is, but you feel it and you know it, you know, when you're young. And she felt that there, and she loved everybody in that church, or she loves everybody in that church. I should rephrase
Up,
that
up, up,
because
up.
tear that apart is
Oh,
past
and she's
tense, and I
touching her lip.
apologize again for that. I hope she gets to come home,
And
you know,
look
and
at
I
her
hope she gets
breathing.
to be with her church family again.
our best friend in that church was Robin. She loved her to death.
Yeah, she looked up to
Loved.
women
They
that
know,
were
She come to
guys.
that church, she
Hands
went looking for
down.
Robin. That was her favorite person.
They
any
know.
woman that was professional.
They need to
Pretty,
separate.
Yeah, she
beautiful.
looked up to those kind of women.
I don't care. They know. I've always thought that, but this interview, I never really go back to it much, but now that I'm looking at it, we all know. They know. They know. It's just hopefully it doesn't take until February to do it because in February, Dawn is going to, I think it's Utah, for the essay charge that Jeannie and Mary, did they both? I don't know which one this one's about, but anyway, the essay charge that was filed against him in Utah, that's going to separate the two. And she gonna crack. If she doesn't crack, he might, because there's plea bargains that happen in Utah all the time regarding multiple cases, especially with sex offenders. So, I just hope it doesn't take until February. It might.
And she, you know, they were, the word I'm looking for, I can't think of it, but she looked up to them.
So I have a question. These two parents have lost their child within a couple of days of this interview. I'm sure of it, right? Remember? So we go back. Okay? And are you hearing that this child is coming home? Anybody? I mean, and help me. Tell me what your feelings are. Tell me what you guys think. I agree, Corporal. They're both speaking in the past tense. Zero sense of urgency. Let me get that statement from Twisted Style. Zero sense of urgency. 11 days after, thank you, Chase. 11 days after, uh, Mari, I can't stand the whole feeling of this. It's like they are reminiscing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, when I went back and I started rewatching and taking.
Okay. Sometimes I do think that the some of the conspiracy theorists about how they sold her into a sex trafficking ring or whatever, sometimes I really do feel like that's far fetched. What I do really believe what happened, and of the many EVP sessions and tarot readings that I've done, um, over and over again, there's water involved, an accident, um, and then having someone help take her somewhere else. And if you look at them right here, look at the eyes, right? They look like they're okay. Like it was an accident. You know, maybe she slipped and fell on the rocks. Maybe she got bit by a water moccasin or ingested some nasty water. That water hole is a what they call a receiver pond or receiver body of water where treated and untreated waste and sewer water runs into it. Who knows? The possibilities are endless with what happened to her. But the look in their eyes right now tells me that they're kind of at peace with what happened and that it's almost like they've moved on in a little way. You know? That's just a feeling I get. But I don't think that it was some big conspiracy theorist sex trafficking ring, even though they might have been involved in that in some way before. I just think this was an accident gone wrong. And yeah, I think Donna might be onto something with having someone get rid of her and then using her in a very sick way. It has happened before with other cases. I can think two that I can recall. So, it's possible. But I think that I'm on the right path with that personally in my beliefs and the readings that I've done. So,
Taking notes, and if anybody can do a link analysis and do kind of do a 6 month back, and then what we know in between. Plead to public to help find her. Right, nothing. Vet girl or a vet girl RW. And thank you for your service. You know, God bless you. We appreciate our veterans. We love our veterans. Thank you all, and our firefighters, and our nurses, and our teachers, and our doctors, and our PD, DAs. We love you all. But I don't sense any urgency here. Uh, I'm not seeing it, and I'm still not seeing it. 6 months later, I would have loved to see that sense of urgency, even today. What I'm seeing is a guy who is a photographer put a website together to search for Summer Wells, and I see media appearances and nothing else. Just saying. And thank you so much, Corporal. 20 years in the Australian Army. God bless you. I love it. Okay, okay. Oh, I gotta set this up. This is one of the most profound moments that happened to me when I first saw this. When this case started to hit my heart, and it's going to be the look that Candus gives Don when he makes a statement. Check this out. It's coming up.
She'd give them a run for their money every day. She'd give them a run for their money. And there was times, we'd be, that our boys like, don't do this and don't do that. Next thing you know, the stick would come up and just whop them, and it'd be like, Summer, don't do that.
Summer was the boss of the family.
She typical girl.
When they get out of line, she'd put them in line.
She'd do her best.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
When I run the lawnmower around, she would run behind me. When the boys run their bikes around, she, as fast as that little bike could go, she would be behind them running and keeping up.
Remember, I said that her scent would be all over that property, including those trails. Well, that's the reason why. One of them. They told us in the very beginning that Summer, and he's got the video where Summer would be chasing that motorcycle with the little 50 cc's. And I asked Candus about it early on when we went up to her house. I asked her, "Are
have
these the
they ever
motorcycles?"
confirmed why
And she says,
CPS
"Yes."
was coming? I mean, they can't legally, but
Up with them, no problem. She
I've
loved to
never seen
run.
a credible
She
source,
just
so
loved to run. She could pull
I don't
herself
know
up
about Jody
on
Sue. I
that
can't
swing,
really
her full body weight with her
feel
2
her
hands,
out.
and she could do that. None of the other boys can do that, but she can.
Was she in school yet?
No,
No.
she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year of
She's been.
kindergarten.
We did all the what?
I took care of everything.
Yeah.
I had her already taken all of her shots and registered in the school.
Notice how quickly she answered that? Okay. Was she in school yet? No. Listen to that again.
To run. She just loved to run. You know, she could pull herself up on that swing, her full body weight with her two hands, and she could do that. None of the other boys can do that, but she can.
Was she in school yet?
No,
No.
she's going this year.
This was supposed to be her first year.
She's
Okay,
been,
Carl.
That's a pretty definitive statement. Would you agree? I think,
I think she was telling the truth.
she is making it very clear that, she's taking grab of that conversation, and you see the camera pan over to Candace. Um, I don't know what to make of that yet, but she's grabbing that conversation, and you moms out there and grandmas, you gals get a gut feeling, probably a lot better than obviously any of us guys. So I mean, tell me what you're feeling on that one, right? And because Don looks, he's just kind of lost in that
Lots of reasons,
conversation.
yeah.
we did all the what?
I took care of
I did all the what? What meaning? What did he do, right? And then, Candace here takes it,
everything.
Yeah.
I had her
and he says, "Yeah."
already taken all of her shots and registered in the school for ready for this year.
I just never expected for anyone to get a hold of my
And
heart.
she doesn't
like
get
she
to have
has,
that
because I try to guard my
experience.
heart as much as I can, but she holds my heart in her little hands. And I love her with all my heart. I'd do anything to have her back. If there's any way
I feel
you
like
find it in
when
your
he
heart
said,
to
I'd give anything to have her back, I think he's reminiscing on when she was alive because he knows that she is past. Yes, I'm painting my nails right now. I really think that she is, or excuse me, Don is reminiscing about how he wishes she would be with him because he knows, they know. We just got to find out how to get one to crack. If anybody knows, please let me know.
please release her somehow. I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably
He's not sure how you would release her. How you would do that if you find it in your heart. He's talking to somebody.
scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure.
And he qualifies it with, well, if you release her, you're going to prison. He's sure of it.
But please find it in your heart. Have mercy.
So is this somebody is a career criminal? Is this a career criminal?
And find a way of letting her go and where we can get her back. And
Now he goes plural, where we can get her back. Where we can get her back.
They are so full of shit.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of clues here.
Look at this
just
look.
please have mercy on her and, and us and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
there's
There
a
it is.
couple of little, I'm going to go back. I'm going to play this again because I want you to look at Don's eyes as he's saying this. I want you to look at how he's looking at Candace. And then this is going to be the aha moment coming up. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and then I'm going to play this through at regular speed. But what I want you to do is watch Don's eyes as he's talking. He's supposed to be looking at the camera, but he's looking at Candace. Okay? And you're clearly going to see it when you notice it.
Somehow, I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of
There.
your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please.
He looked at her when he used the word prison. Let's go back again.
So this was the important part that I wanted to go over
I
tonight.
love her with all my heart.
Yeah.
I'd do anything to have her back.
He's looking at
There's
her
any way
in
you find it
contempt.
in your heart to please release her.
And look at
somehow.
her.
I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else.
Did you see that little head? That little head fake there?
Mm-hmm.
He looks over and then he pulls back. Everybody catch that?
I did, yep.
That's important.
To please release her somehow. I don't know how you might do that. I I mean, 'cause you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure.
Now she leans forward and towards him. Watch this again. Guys, this is very critical. This is what the behavior panel was talking
Do
about.
anything to have her back.
I remember that.
If there's any way, if you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow, I don't know how you might do that. I mean, 'cause you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart.
And it looks like he bumped her with his arm. You got a lot of body language going on here. I'd love to have those guys look at
How
this
you might do
closer.
that. I mean, 'cause you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way.
And you can see her eyes look over at him. Yeah, there, that's exactly. I'm going to put some of these comments up. I love it.
I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute, but there's one more.
After all,
Her brothers, mercy on her, and
she's
she had to be outside. She was outdoor.
okay. And
She'd love to be outside.
Yep.
he objection, yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
And where we can get her back, and just please have mercy on her, and you know, and us, and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. That she's my biggest fear is, you know, her being.
Now he wasn't even asked a question. She's
Wow.
at
You know, her downfall. Because a lot of times the boys would be inside, and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know, go get Summer now." You know, and that's happened over and over again.
Oh my gosh. He's really upset about the boys not getting Summer. Hey, did y'all see that? He was really pissed. He was really pissed
In
off.
her basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her. Unfortunately, her downfall. Because a lot of times,
What's that, Shandon?
the boys would be inside, and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know,
Look how
go
pissed he
get
gets.
Summer now." You know, and that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out, and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person, and
She'd love to be outside.
Yep. And I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's
Locked
such a
away.
loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, blocked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything, love nature,
now
That's
there's two
odd.
things in my opinion going on here. The first one is he's visualizing obviously a horrendous scenario for any human being, yet alone a 5-year-old child, his
Hmm
5-year-old child. But he's also taking her out of the basement and putting her outside subtly.
Yeah.
Okay?
There's
Very
something
calculated.
about that.
Maybe subconsciously
Mm.
he's thinking, how do I get her outside, okay, in case it becomes an issue? That's just my opinion. I could totally be wrong. Okay? But I find it interesting that in the middle of this horrendous description of what's going on with her, he's moving her, okay, outside. Now, why outside, right? We may ask ourselves. What you're thinking, right? He's
That's
calculating
very
that this stranger abduction idea,
interesting.
we've got to put, things, these pieces of the puzzle have to connect. Okay? Maybe the kids are playing outside, and if it ever looked as a situation where, maybe an accident, we get to that scenario, right? And maybe there was a place now where if it was an accident on the property of some type, maybe there are other parties involved that help, move things along. Maybe hypothetically move the body, hypothetically, get her off of the property, i.e., you're never going to find her there. She's MIA. Have they? I've seen
Right.
situations where people have
believe,
think
and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to more.
a horrendous child,
I'm gonna
probably dead.
skip this because it's
She's
just
in 6 months. The other child in the opposite side of the country saying he's in a basement, he's being tortured, he's buried somewhere, and he's probably dead.
mm,
Look at that analysis of contrast in 6 months. In 6 months.
Mhm. Right.
Now, here's the coup de grace. Watch mom's reaction. I'm going to back up. We're going to listen to it in its context.
Okay.
And as soon as
This is what I
she
want
says it,
everyone to
I'm
see.
going to freeze it. I'm going to go back and freeze it.
We've
And
all
as they
seen
say,
this,
a
I'm sure,
picture
but
is worth 10,000 or 1,000 words, right? In this case, it's going to be 10,000. He's pleading for her to be released. Okay?
She's such a loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, I'm blocked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything. Love nature, and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility.
so the anger and contempt there is mind blowing. She is pissed. Yeah, David Dodson is definitely someone to consider for sure. I will never not. Julia, there's just so many different possibilities. It's hard to navigate sometimes,
I don't
but
want to address all
the one time she directly goes and looks at him, she's like, "The fuck did you just say? Do you want to repeat that?" She looks like she was ready to fight.
the negative.
What's this say?
You're about to get
Any
your ass
comments?
beat. I'm sorry, that's just, that says it
He
all.
just said what he just said, and this is
That
her
says it
response.
all.
All right. I see a bunch of answers coming in. Yeah. Yeah. Becky Boo, shut up. Yeah.
Heather, it
Oh
could
my.
be. I
Well,
say, I
look.
mean,
Yeah. I think human nature tells us this does not look right.
yeah, everyone agrees she's like so pissed off.
And listen to her.
It's amazing the little clues that you can get from reactions and um, facial expressions. Isn't it amazing? People subconsciously say things when they're lying that will always give the truth out in small little blips. It's amazing. Like the behavioral panel or the behavior panel is one of my favorite things to watch, but I don't think they get it right. I don't. He was frozen. Hold on.
They
Like,
homes that.
I think
I
it's
don't
live.
know.
or that she could possibly,
There you go.
I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive because
Her
it's so.
face.
Okay. It dropped out right at that part, right? I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened. But anyway, that aside.
Heather, I think I should go on
She goes,
TikTok
I
Live
want
for
to
a
find my
minute.
daughter.
For 30 minutes this time.
Not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive because
She's like,
it's so easy to
shut
get,
the
lost in that
up.
negativity and stuff, and it's just not worth it. So I'm just, I appreciate y'all for
And
the
he's trying to
good
shake
things you
his
say
head to
and
get
your
it out of his
prayers.
head.
That's awesome.
When my sister went missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her
Yep.
too.
Cut through the
Now,
lies, you'll
what
get to the
happened
truth.
off camera, obviously, is they connected the dots immediately with her sister in who's missing, Rose Bly. And of course, that answer was, just what we heard there. Thank you, Donna. Uh, Candace said she was at her mom's trailer a few minutes, then went back to the house, not back door. Or why would they ask the boys
This is a
upstairs where
big
Summer
one.
was? Some within 5 minutes store. Yeah, boys help with the groceries.
Right.
Yeah, there's all kinds of problems that
Inconsistencies.
we can
Lies.
we can find here, right? I want to tonight. We're gonna. This is really really a fascinating look back at this one sentence here, or this one interview here.
And bring her home safely too.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything. Haven't found a body. Nothing. And when you see
Don's got that narrative.
cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer.
By the way, I talked to the detectives working that case about 2 weeks ago. Both Karen and I spoke with them, and uh, we'll see some things um, cooking on that thing as well, on that caper. Okay? I can't say any more than that, but they are appreciative of your help in terms of social media and keeping her case out. The sheriff there is a really good guy. He's got a really sharp investigator on it, and it's going to be interesting. So I'm not allowed to say much more than that, but you will see in due time here coming up.
I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope.
Lose it.
And I think, well,
He's 11 days into his daughter missing, and he's already no hope. But today, I guess he has hope because he's got a website and a variety of other things. Well, I have hope. I have hope that the truth will be found, whatever that hope is and how it's correlated. Um, you know, it's going to be interesting. This, there's other things happening. I have hope that those investigations will be wrapped up shortly, uh, and I have hope that who's ever responsible for those particular problems or crimes will be have a set of matching bracelets. I have a lot of hope. In fact, I've been spreading hope for many years, and I hope to come visit, folks, when things start to fall into place.
maybe we won't never see her again, so I start thinking in past tense. Sorry. But I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my
That was
prayers up
scripted.
and all that.
Ooh,
Okay,
doggy.
thoughts?
That face.
We'll grab a couple of.
So, yeah, my conclusion is accident. Somebody helped them get rid of her body or get rid of her alive. And then, of course, after that, we do not know. It just really scares me that they say they'll never find her. You would only say that if you knew where she was or what happened to her, hands down. You would not say that. Any normal parent would never go there unless they knew something. It's just that simple. And this is why I think that either the church or someone they know is involved. There wouldn't be so many crisis actors and so many pegs in these people's lives, right? I mean, you have to think about how intertwined people are in Don and Candace to protect them. You know what I mean? That's me. um, yeah, it's mind blowing. I really hope that we get some answers before February, but if anything, February is going to be the month to crack Gretchen Wiener's Mean Girls reference, to crack either Dawn or Candace, and maybe even Grandma Candace. But I really, really don't want to wait. Nobody wants to wait that long. Mm. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. I just wanted to go through that and kind of talk about those little things that matter that I forgot about. This interview was huge, and hopefully someone will think of something. But you know what? The one thing that I want to bring up that I cannot understand for the life of me is why wouldn't law enforcement release the Walgreens and Sonic um, video footage if they have it? Because people could be there at the same time, right? People could be there and maybe they saw something and will remember it when they see the video footage. Like, oh, that's right, I did see that car. There was no child in that car. Or, yeah, there was a child in that car. I didn't realize it was Candace and Summer and Hunter and whatever. Just don't you think that that's odd that law enforcement has not provided that information if they do in fact have it? I just think that that's very interesting. It's something to think about, and it's something that I'm not sure if anyone else asked law enforcement, but I'm willing to call them tomorrow. I'm willing to call Hawkins County and ask them because you've seen it so many times where law enforcement goes, if you were here at this time and if you have any information on blah, 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 this video footage, please give us a call or TBI, right? I mean, unless I'm missing something, I'll wait. I don't get it. Also,
Was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt and
Haley
camouflage leggings.
Giandani
Be on the lookout, please.
has been abducted and is missing in Fairview, Texas. So just keep an eye on that. I'll probably cover it in the morning if there is no updates. Let's see, 5 hours, 6 minutes ago. There should be a silver alert because she was in a mental hospital, per her cousin, on my comments. And let's see if there's anything new. 5'4" female who weighs 170 pounds. She has brown hair, brown eyes, and was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt and camouflage leggings. No suspects. Police say law enforcement officials. Police said law enforcement officials believe this child is in grave or immediate danger. Fairview Police Department. I'm sure she has an Instagram. Oh, it is in Collin County. That's one county over from me. I wonder who her family is. Girl, look. It started with Casey Anthony, and it's not going to stop with Summer Wells. We are always going to look out for missing children because that's what we do. Just wonder who the parents are. I always like to know. Let's see what the latest and greatest is on this. Oh, you are in Collin County? I'm in Tarrant County, which is right next to you. And I'm trying to see if there's any updates on this so that I can at least sign off on something. It seems to be the same thing. Oh, really? You know the family? You should go look at the video that I did. Well, here, I'll just go to the comments. Emma Brothers. She said that that's her cousin.
For all my
Right?
Texas.
She's my cousin. She ran away with people she met in a mental hospital, and they are part of a sex trafficking ring. Man. Okay, 4 hours ago, the Fairview Police Department is searching for Haley Giordani. Blah, 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 blah. We already know that information. Looking for an unknown suspect in connection with her abduction. Driving an unknown vehicle. She was last seen on December 18th, which was 2 days ago, on the 100 block of Stonehenge Drive. I think I've even been on Stonehenge. Or around Fairview. Around that area. Wow. So no one's seen who she was with. That is not good to have that little bit of information. There's not much to go on. You know, it's awful. No, that's good news. Yeah, I mean, I heard a cop destroyed some evidence so other agencies were brought in. That happens. Sure does. Oh my goodness. Austin, do you know before I go, Austin, do you have any information on like who it would be? And would their parents be like targeted in any way for getting hate? Because you know how it is out in these YouTube streets. Yeah, there's nothing new. Maybe if we go to Fairview Police Department. I don't know. I think maybe I'm a little too tired for readings tonight. I think I'm going to do it in the morning, though. I think I'm going to get up about 8:30, 9 o'clock and just do a bunch of readings. Nope, nothing. Oh, there's somebody else missing, too. Oh, Sophia Aguilar, yeah. Gosh, you know what, Heather? Tomorrow I'm going to be all up on social media, blasting out information about missing children. Anyway, nope, there's nothing. I wish there was some better news, but hopefully maybe she'll call her parents. Yes, and Heather, because if she was in a mental health facility, that would be classified as a silver alert. So, amber alerts are for children under the age of 18, right? Silver alerts are for missing endangered adults, but I think, oh, yeah, missing endangered children too. That's fair, Austin, that's fair. So, silver alerts should also be a part of that. Yep, I don't know why they're not, but I think you have to go through a little bit of a process or maybe have to prove it. I don't know, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining my live. There was only like, I think 20 people that showed up, and that's okay. It's Sunday, it's Christmas. Um, okay, you sucked me in, Austin. One more thing before I go. Look at George. Is that her? Is that his dad? Her dad, I mean. Her name is Haley Giandani. Who's that? Is that Jorge or George? Yeah, you'd be surprised how quick you could be trafficked. I think there was I don't know if it was a study or a documentary that said that this one girl was sex trafficked and it took her from, I think, Ohio to New York in 3 hours. And she was not awake for that entire time. So she didn't like get to see any of the roads or whatever. 3.5 hours, maybe 4. How the hell do you get from Ohio to New York in 4 hours? How? There's just no way. Like, anyway, they still don't know how she did it, but she was knocked out that entire time. Yes, ma'am, I'm going to get some rest tonight and do some readings in the morning. Is this the one, Austin? I don't see anything. There's nothing to see. But that is Dallas. Yep. I don't see. You know how everybody has Instagram. Oops. Oh, that's awful. She's adopted and she was facing trauma and PTSD because of her bio parents. That's awful. She's very young, so maybe she was too young to have it, to have a Facebook, Instagram. That was on the Facebook page, like the last names of the liked COCON. Thank you, Julia. Yeah. Austin, you're making me go down this rabbit hole. It is easy to do for me, especially with missing children. Okay, that looks fake as hell. I don't even know if this is a real account. People are from all over. I don't know. Suspect. Is that her? Is that her? I don't know if that's her. Can y'all see what I'm doing? That looks like her. It's okay, Austin. I wouldn't do this if I didn't want to. I mean, this is back 3 years ago, but
Nature's corrupted.
here's my TikTok. I account for something. Ooh, how would you know? Ooh, that it? Yep, that's her. Yep, it's new, I think. I'll follow her, why not? That's kind of creepy, isn't it? See if she has anything else. Nope. That's nice. I don't think so. I think that's it. Oh, look. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Oh my God, that was loud. Unnecessarily loud. I'm Ari and I love you all. I have on headphones. Yeah, that was me. Jeez.
What the hell?
I feel you, bro.
What the heck? How did it happen?
It's automatic, stupid. Alright, nope. There is nothing going on here. Nothing. I know my ears. I'm so sorry. I don't think it's them. Anywho. Alright, Austin. If I know anything, I will go on live. I promise tomorrow. Hopefully, she will be found. Alright, guys. Heather, thank you so much for being here. You're the best. And let's find Summer Wells.